I think my favourite would be anything really cooked with aubergine or mushroom. Um, it brings back memories of home. And for me, I got into food because I was in a refugee camp for 13 months, and all the women did was talk about food, their favourite recipes, their grandmother's recipes, their neighbours' recipes. So it became who I was becoming. We didn't have much else to talk about. We couldn't talk about reality. So food was the one thing and what we were going to do when we left the place. And yes, for me, it just made it so obvious that food is a big part of who we are, and sharing the food as well. Because everybody was saying, when I leave, you must come and try this. When I leave, you must come first. And the Ukrainians, they're the same. When I come back, please come and visit me, and I will cook you a food. I will introduce you to all these new things. And yes, food just brings us together. I first met the Ukrainian cuisine when we had some Ukrainians come and live on the farm. And that was about 17 years ago. And we had a couple who came, and they were working on the farm and living on the farm and very keen to show us their food, which was wonderful. I think I remember the borscht. Everybody knows the borscht. But I remember thinking how everything was chopped. A lot of preparation time goes into the food. So that tells you that they care about their food, and there's a lot of love that goes into their food. Yeah. I think we also share quite a big similarity in the type of food we eat. And it was very funny introducing, on some occasions, new food to the Ukrainians who were and weren't afraid to say they didn't like it. The international language is food and music, because we all need food, we all need music, and we all need to laugh and share. And that's very, very prominent in Ukrainians. So they want to give, they want to share the table, and that's how we communicate. And slowly, slowly, the words, they come afterwards. When you go to a wedding or a family event, or you go out, they're not afraid to enjoy themselves and go straight into an event. Whereas the British, they sit, they wait to see what happens, and then they might eventually go in. But the Ukrainians, straight away, it doesn't matter what age, what gender or anything, they just want to enjoy themselves. If it's a celebration time, they want to celebrate. I usually say to people to close their eyes and think about them being in that position where they've lost their house, they've lost their village, their town, where the bombs are coming, where they live in fear, and just to close their eyes and think about what it is that they want out of that scenario, and how, as a human being, we have to help, because without people helping, people get lost. And through no fault of their own, they've had to leave their own country, they've had to leave their families, they've had to leave their husbands and their sons and their fathers. And we have to do what we have to do just to make them feel more comfortable while they're here. And we pray short term, because we pray for them to be able to go home. And we just have to listen sometimes.